I think that I've become a leader in education because I've seen firsthand the power of education. The future is a knowledge economy and a skills economy. And I think the future of education is a knowledge and skills education platform. It is a path to economic and social capital for so many, and it's been the path for many, and our talent is measured by educational attainment. When companies ask us how are we thinking about talent in Miami-Dade County, we can say we have a goal, and each of our institutions has a strategy to contribute to that goal.
Hi, I'm Rod Miller, president of the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, and I'm fortunate to have with me today Dr. Madeline Pumariega, president of Miami-Dade College, the largest college in the United States. Welcome, Dr. Pumariega.
Thank you, Rod. Happy to be here with you.
So let's get right into it. So you are serving as the first female president of one of the nation's largest public universities, and you're also chair of the Academic Leaders Council, which is the association of university presidents and the superintendent of schools. Can you talk to us a little bit about what made you become an educator?
So I got my start at Miami-Dade College, then it was Miami-Dade Community College, as a basketball player. A daughter of a school teacher. Education, I think, runs deep in my blood, but most importantly, I think that I've become a leader in education because I've seen firsthand the power of education, how the power of education can transform lives. How it can build pathways to economic prosperity, how it can bring community together, and how it drives economic development, not for just a community, not just for a state, but for an individual and an individual family. And so I've seen that and witnessed that and work every day to make sure that we create those opportunities, because we do believe that opportunity changes everything.
I'm a big fan of Miami-Dade College, and I say it probably too loud sometimes. I'm always blown away by the students there, but I'm also blown away by the faculty. And it's not Miami-Dade Community College, it's just Miami-Dade College now. I mean, you've got a lot of programs. Can you just talk a little bit about kind of the types of work you're leading at Miami-Dade College?
Sure. The evolution of the college in Miami-Dade County, it kicked off in 1960 as Dade Junior College. And then it went to Miami-Dade Community College. And around 2003, the state provided the opportunity for community colleges to offer workforce baccalaureate degrees, because the state recognized that Florida and our local communities would need talent. That talent would become the economic currency of the future, and we needed to build more capacity. So the college then started as Miami-Dade College, offering workforce baccalaureate degrees. And so the college today offers from certificate programs to our traditional Associates of Arts and Associates of Science degrees to bachelor's degrees. All of the bachelor's degrees that we offer are aligned to workforce needs. So for example, a bachelor's in nursing, because we know that we have a nursing shortage and need to continue to increase the production of nurses right here in our community. Cybersecurity, we have both an Associate's in Science and a Bachelor's in Applied Science and Cybersecurity, which is designated by the National Security Agency as a center of excellence. Why? Because we know the need for cybersecurity experts. And we just launched the first in Florida Artificial Intelligence Bachelor's program. We have a college credit certificate, an associate's, and a bachelor's in artificial intelligence. And those are just to name a few. I think about what we're doing to meet the teacher shortage in our community with not only a teacher apprenticeship program, an associate's, but a bachelor's program that increases the number of teachers that we put in the classrooms throughout Miami-Dade County.
What's great about this, I mean, you really are talking about meeting the needs of our private sector. One of the things that jumps out is innovation being a major part of the work that you're leading in the strategic plan. I know you've got a center around it. Can you talk a little bit about the spark for you to create this innovation, center of excellence at Miami-Dade College?
The community. I think that what really drives it is creating those opportunities. The future is innovation, and today is innovation. So whether we're launching something out of our idea center that helps small businesses scale up, or whether we're doing something out of our center of innovation where we bring together business and industry. We have a group of students led with our faculty member that's a student managed investment fund. They're working on Bloomberg terminals and understanding understanding how to invest. Miami continues to grow in the financial sector. You know, one of the goals of the Beacon Council has always been to diversify our economic footprint, right? There's no doubt that we're still that county of hospitality and tourism. And our Culinary Institute helps meet the talent demands of that industry. But I think there's been a real goal, and you've seen it certainly post the pandemic, to be a technology hub. And so that innovation center drives technology around cybersecurity and digital marketing and AI, but then also around the financial sector. And so our programs there and our BIT Center help drive capacity and building for talent around the financial sector that we see continuing to grow in Miami-Dade County.
One of the things that everybody's talking about now is generative AI and what that means. And I understand you all have programs in it and you've really kind of focused on it. Can you talk a little bit about that and where that came from and where it's going?
So in 2021, recently I arrived back in Miami as the college president, and we decided to put a program together that would allow our faculty to go through artificial intelligence training. And we had about that year 500 of our faculty member go through a series of workshops around artificial intelligence. In 2022, we launched an innovation program that we funded faculty who were putting artificial intelligence and virtual reality in their classroom to enhance learning outcomes and student success. And then that really drove our degree pathway to create the certificates and the associates and the bachelors. So, you know, late 2023, when institutions were thinking about banning ChatGPT, the college was really embracing generative open AI, but then beginning to understand how AI would, what the role that it would play in industry. So we've really had a cross-disciplinary approach. Instead of AI just being a major, you're going to find AI, whether it's in a teaching program, whether it's in our MAGIC, which is gaming and animation program, or whether you're in a healthcare program. You're going to be, as a student, exposed to artificial intelligence because it is changing the way that we work, the way that we learn, and even the way that we play and travel. There probably isn't a platform that's not on our phone or our smartwatch that doesn't use some level of artificial intelligence.
It's crazy. So now I'm at the point where I'm using ChatGPT at least every day, at least 2 or 3 times a day, because it just makes it a little bit easier to get what I need to get done. And I think that we're going to continue to see that. I understand that you all have programs as well where the community, where locals can actually plug in and get some training and development as it relates to AI as well.
We do. I'd like to say, you know, our community, we all need to level up. You know, you've leveled up using ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT. So we provide opportunities for the community to come in and not only if they want to do a program, but do a course or get an industry certification in some of those skills that are important. I think that the future of education is personalized. It's going to be grounded in strong academic skills. We're also going to need those future-proof skills like design thinking and problem solving and communications and critical thinking. But I think we also need a set of digital skills, which include artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and others. I think that every industry has been transformed by the evolution of digital skills and digital products in their environment. And I think that we're seeing a lot of professionals coming back to skill up and level up.
I started college, I don't think we didn't have email at the time.
No.
And by the time I finished college, it was like everywhere was email. And when I started grad school, I said I'd never get a cell phone because I thought they were evil. And of course, a few years later now I have 2 cell phones. And I think, you know, and then big data came out.
I went to college and I think we had beepers. And, you know, they sent you little codes on your beeper and you ran to a payphone and you called. When I showed my daughter a payphone one day, She was like, what is that? I go, that was our primary means of communication.
Oh my gosh, I remember I'd get the call in the dorm from my dad. And then in the last, 10 years or so, we've had these MOOCs that have come out in terms of modular online learning with the Coursera's and the Harvard X's and all of these programs. And now everybody has, these online programs. And it feels like Gen AI is going to change the education landscape again. I mean, you're not just a tremendous education leader, you're also a tremendous business person in terms of the enterprise that you're running. Can you talk a bit about where is the future of higher ed going, and what role is Miami-Dade College playing in that future?
So I think ChatGPT has democratized, or OpenAI, any of the generative AI, has democratized information, not knowledge. So we all have access to information. Anywhere we go, we have access to information. I think that the future is a knowledge economy and a skills economy. And I think the future of education is a knowledge and skills education platform. We're going to put a premium on knowledge, and we're putting a premium on skills. And I think for us, for the future of higher ed, it's personalized. I think that students want to have a personalized experience with their institution of higher education. I think that we've got to take a look at the syllabus and de-skill it for those skills that are important, and you can earn those skills through badges and certifications and industry certifications. I think it's about stackable credentials. It's not just one credential. You'll just continue to increase your knowledge. But everyone I speak to in the private sector and in our own, they need more knowledgeable individuals. And so I think there is the tension point of the trades and the skills, in which the college is launching a construction trades institute that will work on trades and welders and semiconductors and all of that, which we need to keep building and keep driving economic development in our communities, but also at the same time, that knowledge economy and making sure that we have the talented workforce for the businesses that come to Miami-Dade County, that they find the talent that they need, and they find the talent that allows them to continue to grow and thrive right here in our community.
Can you talk a little bit about the Academic Leaders Council? What is it, and what's the work of the Academic Leaders Council at this point?
So the Academic Leaders Council really is a part of the Beacon Council. The Beacon Council wanted to make sure that it created a council of academic leaders. Why? Why would the Beacon Council want to have that? Well, if you're trying to attract a company to come to Miami-Dade County, the first thing they're going to ask you is about talent. Will you have the employees that we need? As I said earlier, talent is the economic currency of the day. And so the Beacon Council wanted to have one council that it could come to, that business leaders could come to and sit and say, we're thinking about coming to Miami-Dade County. Can you share with us as an Academic Leaders Council what your strategy is, what your talent output? That is unique, because if you go to any other community, you might have 25 superintendents. In this case, you have the superintendent from the third largest school district in this country. You have the college president of the largest college in this country. You have the university president from the R1 school right here in our community. You have the University of Miami president, St. Thomas, Berry, Florida Memorial. So if someone comes to you and says, Rod, I'd like to meet with the academic leadership of your community to talk about my company's needs, you make one phone call, and the 7 of us come together and meet with anyone and everyone. And so I think that's a power tool, if you will, a power boost for the Beacon Council. And so we meet regularly, and we bring thought leaders to speak to the Academic Leaders Council about the future of work, about the talent, and about Miami and where Miami sits. We just had Dr. Portas talk about Miami and Dubai and Singapore in one sentence.
That's right.
Right? And so, how do we make sure that we're the talent hub that attracts the type of business and industry we want to our community?
Many have heard about it, but for those who haven't, can you talk a little bit about the community-wide talent development goals and what that is and why it matters?
I'll start that it matters because oftentimes we'll hear from companies, what's your community talent strategy. Not your individual talent strategy, but do you have a collective impact? Do you have a collective goal? And so we set that goal, which is talent is measured by educational attainment. Florida has a goal to be #1 in workforce and ensure that by 2030, 60% of 25 to 64-year-olds have a credential of value. Means it's an industry certification in one of the trades, or it's a certificate, an associate, or a bachelor's and beyond. And so the Academic Leaders Council set a goal by 2040 that 65% of our community would have a credential of value, and that would be, a certificate or an associate's or bachelor's and beyond. And we set that goal so we can have a North Star. When companies ask us, how are we thinking about talent in Miami-Dade County, we can say we have a goal, and each of our institutions has a strategy to contribute to that goal.
What's interesting is there is a narrative, and we were talking a little earlier about, the narrative around schools and around other things. There is a narrative, and that's incredibly progressive work. And I don't know that we've got that reputation as Miami-Dade, as a community, that we're incredibly progressive about educating our people. I think I think it's unfortunate that we don't have that reputation. But can you talk a little bit about kind of the history of education in this community, why it's valued so much, and kind of what the opportunities we're seeing moving forward?
I think that the value of education in this community is valued so much because so many of us came from somewhere else. My parents were processed through the Freedom Tower in El Refugio. And when they left Cuba with the shirts on their back, the one thing that they kept always was their education. And I grew up, like so many of us, in a household that said, the one thing that no one can take away from you is your education and your knowledge. And I think that that's why this community puts a premium on education. There are great pockets of excellence. There's always work to do in education. You've never completed a goal. The truth is we've made great strides in early learning. There's more to do to make sure that students are exposed to high quality early learning programs. We've made great strides in third grade reading levels. There's more to do. If we're going to build capacity around STEM pathways, we have to strengthen science and math pathways. We've done great work in our K-12 and in our colleges and universities. There's more to do. But I think we have to look at it with an asset mindset and not a deficit mindset. We have a lot of human capital assets deployed in our community that are building and thriving businesses, starting businesses and contributing to business growth in Miami-Dade County. And we know there's always work to do, but we've got to build on the success that we've had. Just a couple of weeks ago, Florida was named #1 in education, and that was #1 in K-12 education and higher education. That's not a qualitative report, that's a quantitative report, because it requires policy, it requires investment, it requires human and social capital. And I think that education has a premium in this community because it is a path to economic and social capital for so many, and it's been the path for many in our community. And just at Miami-Dade College, 60% of the 125,000 students that we serve are first in their families to go to college. We've served 2.5 million students in the history of Miami-Dade College, many the first to go to college in their own families. And I think that's the value of education. That's the premium of it. And everyone wants it to be better, and everyone wants it to be the best, because we know the power that it is to transform and how it transforms community.
Thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your insights.
It's great to be here with you, and looking forward to working together.